So what is this new DPS set that people keep talking about recently? Well, actually it isn't new at all. It released in August 2017 with the Horns of the Reach DLC. Yes, this set that is so hot right now is none other than Flame Blossom. See what I did there? It's a light armor set from the Bloodroot Forge dungeon. So what is going on with this set and why has it just now started to gain some real traction? The 2 through 4 piece bonuses are Max Magicka, Weapon and Spell Damage, and Penetration. Not the best bonuses, but not bad at all either. The Magicka line is rather weak, but the Pen line can be amazing if you need it, but wasted if you don't. Definitely not a bad trio of bonuses though. If you are curious about the specifics from set bonuses like this, I definitely recommend you check out my latest videos covering the penetration and critical strike systems in ESO. Pretty short videos. If you want to give them a go, I'll have them linked in the description. But the reason Flame Blossom is being widely talked about recently is the 5-piece bonus. When you deal damage, you summon a line of flame that moves forward after 1 second, dealing X flame damage to any enemy in its path and applying the burning status effect. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds and scales off the higher of your weapon or spell damage. So I found it pretty interesting that Flame Blossom and Pillar of Nirn are both from the same dungeon DLC, with Pillar being a medium armor set coming from the other dungeon, Falkreath Hold. If we compare these two sets though, the 2 to 4 piece bonuses are similarly set up. Flame Blossom just has the Magicka line as a light armor set, and Pillar of Nirn has the Stamina line as a medium armor set. And then both have the weapon and spell damage, and then Pillar has crit chance, whereas Flame Blossom has penetration. For the 5-piece bonuses, both have the exact same proc condition when you deal damage, meaning that any tick from your abilities will trigger these. And they also both share the same cooldown of 10 seconds. Essentially, this makes both of these sets useful in the same sort of scenarios as a front bar or a back bar option due to the ease of activating it. Now here is where they start to differ. Pillar has a much higher tooltip, and the majority of the damage comes from a dot that it puts on any enemy's hit. So once the dot's applied, they will receive all of those ticks. Whereas Flame Blossom has a lower tooltip and is a ground AoE that travels and hits enemies in its path. I think a big reason that this set has been overlooked is because of that lower tooltip. When comparing it to Pillar, it's only around 38% of the damage you'd get every 10 seconds. However, what this doesn't account for is the ability for Flame Blossom to hit more than once on the same target if that target is big enough. It looks like there is a cooldown of roughly 2 seconds for the flame wall to be under the target before it will tick again on the same target. So that means if you have the wall going under an enemy for 2 seconds, you should be able to get 2 ticks out of it. And then if the enemy is large enough where the wall can be touching it for 4 seconds, then you should be able to get the maximum of 3 ticks out of it. So with 2 ticks, you can see that Pillar is ahead, but not by nearly as much. And then when you factor in that guaranteed burning, they're going to be even closer. I still think Pillar wins out here, but definitely puts Flame Blossom into that viable category. Where Flame Blossom really shines though is on enemies where you can actually get it to tick 3 times on. And at that point, it pulls out a fair bit ahead of Pillar, especially when you factor in that guaranteed burning. And this will be even higher on Dragonites with their 5% bonus to flame damage and 50% bonus to burning damage. So it seems to synergize really well there. Now, because of the size requirement, this does mean that the set is a bit niche, since on those regular size enemies, you're only going to get 1 tick out of it every 10 seconds. And at that tooltip, it's not really going to be doing anything too impressive. But on those bigger enemies, people are seeing really good results from this set right now. Fights such as Teleria in Dreadcell Reef, she has a really big hitbox, and therefore you can consistently get good damage from this. It was doing over 8k DPS here in this particular log. And it can also help out a bit with Cleave, since it would go through the other enemies stacked up as well. And then it also seems to be getting really good results on the Dragons and Sunspire. Looking at this log, Flame Blossom and Reliquant are neck and neck for damage. Really, on any enemy that has a big hitbox like this, it should be a nice option. I wanted to put this video together because A, I just wanted to let people know about the set, but also B, I found it interesting that this set kind of flew under the radar for most players for a long time. Granted, the majority of proc sets have only been used in high-end gameplay since they allowed them to critically strike again, so it hasn't been that long, but still, just goes to show with a game as big and in-depth as ESO, there are constantly new things to be discovered. I think the main reason for this is that it was not very commonly known that multiple ticks could occur on the same target, and therefore due to the lower tooltip, it was just being dismissed. And I do think Pillar of Nirn is still much more flexible with the number of encounters that it's good on. It's more generally useful. But for those of you that like to do a number of different setups for different situations, this is definitely looking like one that you're going to want to pick up. So pretty easy to determine when to use it. Really big hitboxes mean really good results from Flame Blossom. Plus, it just looks really cool. I mean, who doesn't like shooting out walls of fire? Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think about Flame Blossom. Maybe some of you have already been using it. I think I'm probably going to have to farm up a set of it myself. Big thanks to all my Patreon supporters and YouTube members. The monthly contributions help out a ton to keep the website and YouTube channel going. And a special thanks to Nicholas, Simon, Cougar is Bay in the Cougar City Guild, the Order of War Guild, Cantankerous Cat, Shady, Iffy, Blake1816, Mordecai1212, Santanico, Vidridi, Florian, Phoenix, Nalandia, Unemployed, Chryseliana, and Cha-Cha. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.